Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be creating a Perplexity clone that has the ability to create content like blogs or social posts with images. And we're going to do that with a quick head start using a template from Vercel called Morphus. So stay tuned for the video. There's some surprising results. We're also comparing Windsurf and Cursor, and we'll see who wins the challenge. And little spoiler, one of these tools one-shots this prompt, so stick around to see. Let me just show you what Morphic can do. It's kind of like Perplexity, but if you ask, what's the stock price of Apple? And it'll tell you what the stock price is today. It does quite a bit of research, so it has an agent in there that goes out and researches. It should give us some images back, and it's telling the stock price right now is 242.84. Gives us some image, some further source information, and then you can even, ask it another question for a further in-depth analysis of Apple. So it's a really powerful engine, and you can actually clone this right from Vercel.com. They have templates, so this is their clone, which is pretty much the same thing. I think it's kind of the same source code. Morphic may be using a few extra features, but what do you need for this? You'll need to clone this repository. So you'll need to sign in Vercel with your GitHub, and then you can clone this template to your repository like I've done here. You'll need Tavily. They got a free plan with 1,000 credits. This helps you search. So you'll need an API key from them. You need an OpenAI API key. You're going to need a Redis Upstash. This is for caching. They have a free plan as well. And then for authentication, you'll need Firebase. So I'm going to go through and try to set up an app, and I'm going to use Cursor and Windsurf simultaneously to see how far each one goes before they break. And then maybe at the end of this, I'll have a full working SaaS. So we'll see. Okay, so the first thing I did is I created a folder called Cursor versus Windsurf, and I put a Morphic Windsurf and a Morphic Cursor folder in there. Nothing's in there now, but we're going to go ahead and use GitHub Desktop, and we're going to clone this repo. So let me find my repo. Let's see, it's already in my GitHub. We're going to go to code. We're just going to copy the URL. I'll bring over this. We're going to, on GitHub Desktop, we're going to clone a repository. We're going to do URL. We're going to put the URL in. Then we're going to browse to the Cursor versus Windsurf. And we'll just clone it here on the Windsurf folder, clone. Going to do the same thing on the Cursor folder. Okay, got them both cloned. Now, if we go back to them, we should see everything's in here on both folders. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and open up Cursor. File, open folder. Cursor versus Windsurf. Cursor. Going to do the same thing on Windsurf. File, open folder. And in this one, we're going to open up the Windsurf folder. Cool. So we got both our projects open. The first thing we're going to need to do is create a env.local. So new file, .env.local. Make sure you have that in the correct directory. Same thing here, add file, .env.local. Now, if you look at the example, you have OpenAI key, Tavily key, You don't actually need this Redis here. This is only if you're hosting Redis Upstash locally on your system, so you really don't need it. Or you can put it in there and leave it false. I'm going to leave it in there as false. If you have Upstash locally for some reason instead of in the cloud, you would change this to true, and you would put your local Redis in there. But this is what you need from Redis. So we really need just this area. So go ahead and get your API keys, put them in here, and then copy that to your env.local. I'm going to go ahead and update my env.local now. All right, so got my files updated. You want to make sure you have a git ignore, and you want to make sure your env.local is ignored. So got Windsurf on my left, got cursor on my right. The first thing we're going to need to do is open a terminal on both. So let's do that, and we're going to do an npm install, but make sure you're in the right directory. Let's see, there we go, npm install. That's going to install the packages.json and get all the dependencies that you need. All right, cool. So the dependencies are installed. Now you're going to do an npm run dev. On both of them. Obviously, you guys aren't going to be doing both of them. But whenever you have two different ones run at the same time, by default, it's going to be localhost 3000. So Windsurf got that one. And then Cursor saw that 3000 was being used, so it went to 3001. So we're going to open both of these in different tabs and see what they look like. Make sure that the Morphic program is working. It should be working now. So yeah, there it is on Windsurf. Let's go ahead and open it on Cursor. 3001 for Cursor. I don't know why it went to sign in. Let's remove that. Cool. So Windsurf on the left in black, dark mode. Cursor on the right in light mode. Don't know why they loaded in different modes, but anyways, we can see that we're using GPT-4o. I'm going to change it to mini on both of these guys. And yeah, let's do a test to make sure it's working. We're going to do what's the price of Apple stock on both of them. Does not appear. Oh yeah, it's working on both. Cool. So Apple stock says it's 153.72. Let's see if that's right. 250. Where is it getting this info from? Okay, so it's searching the history. So this is not going to get you real-time data. We seem to have gotten some more graphs on the left than we did on the right, even though we asked the same question. But to ask a new question, you're just going to hit the plus at the bottom. We're going to do new on both. What is the current best AI editing tool editor for coding? What's the current best AI editing tool editor for coding? That question doesn't make sense, but let's see what it says. What features are you looking for? So it's asking a qualifying question. So we'll do code completion, bug detection. These aren't really what I'm looking for, but we'll just do those two. Okay, different images. They both got the second image the same. Different articles. So GitHub Copilot. This one says tab 9, and this says Replit Ghostwriter. Code by SourceGraph, Wing by Python, Deep Code. They kind of went out and searched different articles. But either way, we have a full working, almost a Perplexity clone in a way. That's kind of what Morphic is. Similar to Perplexity, it has a research agent and it's a search engine, and it just gives you kind of its findings and an answer. So you can easily create your own Perplexity in just a few minutes, like I just did. But what we want to do is enhance this, let it do some research, and then at the end, for the follow up, we want to be able to create social media posts or blogs or some sort of content. So that's the goal here today, and we're going to see if we can make something more of this and then maybe even turn it into our own SaaS. So the first thing I like to do is create a PRD. A PRD is a product roadmap development. It might be PDR, development roadmap. Anyways, I use Claude for this, so you kind of give it a rundown of what you're working with already, what you want it to do, and then tell it to create a PRD for your AI coding assistant, and it'll write something up for you. So this is what we got here. Got quite a bit of info. You want to kind of look through this, make sure it's accurate and really what you're looking for. And then once you have a good PRD, you're going to copy it all. And they're both using Claude Sonnet 3.5. And we're going to see which one can really update this project. So the first thing you want to do is to get it to review the current source code. So with cursor, you can just tell it code base, review the current code base. Just to get familiar with it. All right, so yeah, it seems to have a good understanding of what it does. All right, so I'm going to tell it to turn it into this project. All right, let's modify the code base to enhance its capabilities and give it 3 additional follow-up options to create social media posts or blog posts or reports. Pasting that on top of my original message, and I'm going to put that in Windsurf and now Claude. And let's let them go and see what happens. All right, so Windsurf is doing a lot more researching. It's creating actually. It's already done the research, I guess. Composer and Cursor is showing us the code, and it looks like Composer is done, or Cursor is done. Let's go ahead and take a look at Cursor while we wait on Windsurf. Windsurf's created some new files. All right, and we broke Morphic. That is to be expected. It looks like a module is not found. So basically we're just going to copy this code, bring it over here and tell it about it. And Windsurf is done. Let's take a look at Windsurf. We're going to refresh. It's still working. Let's ask it a question. Oh my gosh. We have some new options at the bottom here. So we have generate content, research report, blog post, social media package. That is pretty impressive. So I'm not gonna, I honestly don't think this is gonna work, but let's click on it. We'll try blog post first and see what happens. So it popped up in here, and we're going to go ahead and hit the right arrow. What topics should the blog focus on and search results? So we'll say tech or finance because we asked it a question about Apple. What themes? Investment tips, stock market trends, recent financial news. Okay, so we got a blog title, Navigating the Stock Market, Trends and Tips. Okay. Conclusion. For more insight, detailed, stay up to date. This is pretty impressive. So the one thing it didn't do was take the research from the initial question. I don't see anything about Apple, but it actually created a blog with images. And I don't know if we can copy this, but we should be able to tell it to export to like an HTML file. But let's go ahead and check out social media package and see what that does. It has the initial question here. What specific social media platform content? We're going to say Facebook and Instagram. Answer. Here's some engaging social posts. Instagram, educational information. Instagram feedback, tailored stock market tips, and financial news. Okay, so Instagram post ideas. Create visually appealing infographics that break down complex stock market concepts into digestible pieces. Use bold colors and clear font to attract attention. Dude, this literally just created a new picture because it says company name in the top right. I don't know where it's generating images from, but it just generated an image with some fake text here. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Um, Stock market investment, and it says your website. So it's literally creating images, and these don't look like AI generated images either. I don't think it's pulling these from anywhere. Yeah, company name, investing in stocks, website. Wow. Okay. So here's the Facebook post ideas. Over the past 6 months, we've been talking a lot about virtual trade shows. If you haven't yet registered for one of these events, here's your chance to learn more about what online trade shows are all about. Check out the storefront to see why digital format is the future of the wholesale industry. Virtual trade show and finance aren't really the same thing. Investing tips. Use practical investment tips such as diversity in your portfolio at risk. Factors motivating Gen Z consumers to engage with social media. Wow, this is an AI generated image. Everyone's on fire here. That could be a viral image too. People would actually stop scrolling to look at that. 3 elements of engaging Facebook posts. So it seems that Instagram stayed on the topic of finance, but when it went to Facebook, it started talking about how to post on Facebook. Interesting. Okay, so let's try the last thing. We're going to do a research report. What specific topic or aspect of the stock market would you like to report to focus on? We'll say investment strategies and current trends. Okay, doing its research. Answer the stock market trends and investment strategy report, December 2024. That is the current month. It's December 11th, which is my birthday, actually. As of December 2024, the stock market's shown significant movement and trends that investors should be aware of. Here's some key insights. The S&P has risen by nearly 21% over the first 3 quarters of 2024, which is true, indicating strong performance. Analysts predict from Wells Fargo, stock market will remain strong, supported by wage moderation, low interest. Market sentiment, visual insight. So it's given a visual graph. Stock emerged from COVID crash. That's 2021 picture from Statista. Okay. Value investing, buy on dips, diversification, investment strategy. This is a pretty good report. I would almost say this report is better than the blog. So yeah, crazy. We were able to take an idea from a pre-made open source GitHub repo and convert it into something that we could turn into a SaaS. So do we want to make this any better? Yeah, we do. But I think for today, that's as far as I'm going to go on the Windsurf side. I'm going to just test Cursor a little bit more to see what it can do. Let's see, where are we at on Cursor? Okay, so we fixed that last error. Let's check it out. What is the stock price of Apple? That is not very good. There's no blog information, no more pictures. All that is gone. We're gonna ask it again. All right, so Cursor has crashed again. That's as far as I'm going to go with Cursor today. Cursor's great. This could have just been a one-off, but Windsurf definitely one-shotted this prompt today, which is very impressive. And it made something that we might be able to turn into a SaaS. So in part 2 of this video, I think I'll implement Firebase in a data store and set up authentication and maybe a token system and see if we can actually make this a SaaS. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.